So I think we've all seen the headline, especially like the most unfortunate instances of having those signs for mass shootings, is that video games make people violent. I personally don't agree with the statement, and I'd like to actually show you guys the research that backs up the fact that video games, while they can have correlation to people that per se commit these crimes, they actually is evidence that they help a lot more than just promote violence. And I'd like to argue that although they aren't as bad as they seem, they're actually beneficial and have been shown to encourage critical thinking through promoting brain growth in those particular parts of the brain. In the journal American Psychologist, they postulated that 97% of children and adolescents play video games for at least 1 hour a day in the US. So I don't know about you, but when I look at little kids, they're crazy, but they're not inherently hostile or violent. And if 97% of them are playing video games, then how come they're not doing so? If it's an hour per day, that's more than I play, and I play a lot, in my opinion. So further to that point, like when you see those kids in schools, something that we've been seeing coming up, and I know I'm experienced in elementary school, is we're on the computer to learn. We're using these websites to play games to encourage critical thinking and to learn basic maths. I'm sure most of you have either heard of ABC Mouse or have used Study Island back in like elementary school. It's like we played video games, we use them to learn. It's already been proved that they can be used in a more positive light. Furthermore, in a study done by Max Planck Institute for Human Development, they stated that while previous studies have shown differences in brain structure of video gamers, the present study can demonstrate the direct causal link between video gaming and volumetric brain increase. So this proves that brain regions can be trained by means of video games. So we've already seen through these studies that people who engage in these games activate parts of the brain to think more critically and to problem solve. This so much so that we've actually used these methods to combat Alzheimer's. Since this is a degenerative disorder, activating these parts of the brain actually helps fight that degeneration. And my last piece of evidence is done by a study of contemporary education technology, and they basically found, since I'm running out of time, they basically found that different games actually correspond to different parts of the brain. So simulation games, education games led to higher creativity, information games led to algorithmic thinking, and simulation games actually led to highest levels of critical thinking. So these different aspects of different games actually correspond to the way that your brain reacts to learning from them. And so, in summary, despite the fact that we so highly put violence at the top of the list that video games affect, they actually do play a larger role in helping us become smarter individuals. And since it's affecting children the most, I think we see kids are getting smarter, and we're using this as an advantage.